cooking today. I'm cooking with some ideas in terms of how to restructure the offer and how to make things better. So first off, like a few updates. We had the prospect agent go out and find more prospects. So now it's finding prospects really nice. The only minor tweak I have to do is to pretty much make it format exactly as I want the Google Sheets, but nonetheless, it's still finding prospects, not creating duplicates, not wiping out data. 20 exactly as I wanted. The only idea I had in mind was I should maybe consider, because right now I'm using for web search Parallel AI, and there's also a built-in web search tool for the AI itself. I was thinking, what if I did a very light task where it does a full research task on prospects and it just gets more enriched data versus just say a simple web search, you know what I mean? So it's more specific. So I don't think I should overcomplicate it too much in the beginning. I think it's very simple. We should just keep it simple for now. And I just launched, or I prompted recently the agent to draft me some emails in terms of just sending out the initial outreach. Now that's going and it's working, it's cooking. And here, just to show you some like activity inside the agent mail, things are good. So we sent out total 24 emails. So in 30 minutes, so I sent out 3 draft emails just today from the prospect sheet, just to like test out if everything's working. In about 20 or 30 minutes, when the time hits 10 o'clock, we are gonna have the agent send out 20 more emails, all fully automated with the cron job. So hopefully when it goes out there and it actually sends the emails, it's going to be exactly as I wanted it. You know what I mean? It's going to be exactly as I wanted it. It's going to, It's going to send things exactly as, we wanted, with the variables, with what the person is looking for and stuff like that. And just so you can kind of see kind of the email from, the email that the AI is sending now. And now you can kind of see here that it is properly writing the hooks that are personalized to the prospects, and hopefully from there it can increase our engagements and responses. So yesterday was a super embarrassing fail where pretty much the agent sent out the emails with the variable inside of the headline and the actual email itself. So that is extremely embarrassing. Probably not going to get any responses, but you never know, someone might have some sort of empathy. But anyway, now that that's out of the way, the other thing I had a really interesting idea on is how to structure the offer properly, because I was thinking, okay, I'm still going to keep everything the same. And by the way, since last night's new offer switch up, where now we're trying to sell the personal assistant angle for more of a broader appeal. Unfortunately, no bookings since yesterday, but we'll see about that. The day's still not over. And right now, it's in a CBO campaign. So the CBO campaign is definitely trying to optimize and find the ad sets and the creatives within the ad sets that are actually going to get the scheduled bookings. So give it 2-3 days and we'll see how that goes, because if it can beat the previous metrics, which is around, I think the best number was around $8 per scheduled call, which was the best number. But if you can beat that'll be really good. But we'll see, you know what I mean? But anyway, the goal here with that, by the way, is to have the numbers to be long-term low. And what I was realizing with this past offer around the OpenClaw, they were just getting higher and higher. And I was just like, why? Is it because the trend and the hype is dying? Maybe. Who knows? But anyway, about the offer, I'm thinking of restructuring the offer in a very unique way. And I think the way I'm going to restructure the offer is we're still going to pretty much do the setup, but now we want to have some sort of recurring. So what I'm thinking is, think more longer term and how much value I can really give the person. So I'm thinking, what if I did something where we still sell the person somewhere between $600 and like $1,000 for the setup? Otherwise, it's free for like the most basic setup, you know what I mean? But it just makes so much sense to sell the next logical thing in sequence. My thinking here is, if I want to ever like really make this person a high ticket sale where I can sell them for like $3,000 plus or like $3,000, whatever, I'm thinking either bulk upfront, sell them a 6-month commitment, or say, hey, every single month I'll give you one new automation, I'll give you basic maintenance to make sure everything's running properly, and then just tech support. You know what I mean? So like 3 additional additions helps the person get the automations, and we over time make this AI personal assistant very modular, right? That's a frequent conversation I had over many people. So I have 2 calls, one in about 15 minutes. So we'll see if this guy is gonna be interested in that and in the upsell, but we'll see. And the thinking behind here is like, hey, if you close today and pay me $3,000 plus for the setup, that's like almost $4,000 right there. Then what's it called? You will save. You pretty much get an extra month for free, because otherwise what you have to do is I can put you on a recurring, and that's $600 or more per month. So right now I'm just going to start off and think with, okay, how can I make this a $600 a month kind of offer, and then from there raise the prices if it makes sense and people are biting on it, you know what I mean? Because people want automations, people are interested in seeing how they can make this better, and I think that's probably gonna be the best way. Plus, it gives me a recurring, you know what I mean? Something I know and I can build with over the next few couple months, you know what I mean? It's recurring. I build a higher LTV, and off the bat, I think I can double my revenue, or even maybe 2.5x the revenue, assuming people bite on this offer, and over time just raise prices based on learnings, time, effort, things like that. Any other operating costs, or like cost to fulfill the client, to see how that works. But everything's still intact. It's going to be insane, or just the same. And the only difference here is just going to be like this upsell, like how I'm framing the upsell, and if we can get people on back and recurring. And the other thing I have in mind is like, how can I start building an email list for these people? You know what I mean? Because I have to start building email lists. I have to have a point of communication other than text. And, I know it's obvious that I have to get like a lead magnet or something like that, but that's another thing that's being cooked up in my subconscious, and we'll see what I can offer these people. But right now, people are just going directly to the landing page, booking, and just going from there. But, I can take them to like a lead magnet intake form or something like that, where, is this thing focused right? Where they can get some sort of freebie, but, we'll see. Just seeing if there's anything I can offer them for free, but, I'll just let that cook in the back of my mind. But yeah, that's the update for now. I'm pretty hyped because I have 2 shots today, hopefully, if they show up on the call, and, we can get this going, we can get this going, we can get the basic setup out of the way, and then we can offer a more flexible approach in terms of how I'm building people these automations, and the commitment here. I think that's gonna be like the biggest thing, adding a recurring on the back end, so it's not just a one and done kind of thing, but it's more so of like, hey, you're in the business, and now and how much time does it really take to get these jobs done for people? Not much, not much. And then once it's up, it's up, it's just doing the task. They're just simple cron jobs. But yeah, I'm hype. Let's see what happens. Let's stay updated to the meta ads. I'm really curious about it, because I know there's an angle. I know there's something there, a message fit that's going to work with the audiences and people online for these business owners on selling free, selling something around free and an AI. I just have to find the right angle, and I'm hoping this angle is going to work. But yeah, we're just going to stay up to date on that. And in the meantime, one little other update in terms of the email agent. What I was working on was this email agent that can now also check the inboxes and then proceed with follow-up. So that's still being built out, because now we have the initial email outreach agent, and then we're also going to have a cron job for every single day at 10 a.m. where the same email agent that I created, this time it's going to be tasked with checking the CRM and seeing what status is a prospect in, and if they have to do any sort of follow-up. So right now, the only con is that my agent mail plan is at maxed cap at 25 emails per day. So I have to either upgrade or, figure out another way around this where I can do follow-ups, but we'll see. Everyone is talking online about having a workspace and some sort of, dashboard for this OpenClaw thing. So I want to give it a shot. I figured, hey, why not just let my daily executioner agent cron job just go out here and create this workspace myself without me having to do shit, So basically I give it a prompt, and the prompt is pretty much this. So I'm gonna show you here real quick. The prompt is pretty much to do some research online about what all this like workspace is, this workspace stuff, or like this dashboard stuff is. Find the top voices in the AI right now, and then to use this API skill and tool that I've given it, where what it can do is it can transcribe videos on YouTube. It's called SupaData. Someone on AI or excuse me, someone on YouTube mentioned about it, and I think it was that dude Alex Finn, or I think Riley Brown, one of them. Anyway, yeah, one of them mentioned the tool, and I started using it ever since. It's actually pretty useful when you hook up your agent to it, because then it can find clips, get the transcript, and then do something off that information. So it's gonna research workspaces and like dashboards, how to create it. It's gonna research the task, build out the task and like the deliverables, and then hopefully produce it. And then we can work with this thing, and then it's gonna be super useful because all these people are doing all these really cool things with the workspace, and we're just going to see what it can pull off. The other thing is, unfortunately, I still have to refine this email agent, but just for, to hide some sensitive information here, but I am basically showing you kind of how the initial outreach looks like. It looks like this, but the one thing like directly under my thumb, what you can see there is that line specifically there is supposed to, mention some sort of research or statistic about their specific space. Their specific space, and versus just calling out their title and their business, because right now it just sounds kind of robotic and ridiculous. So I have to add like more so like a human element to this, so it sounds more nice and personalized versus just kind of robotic as it is right now. Because like, why would you say woman-owned marketing agency? It's just so out of pocket, because it says hi business name or hi name woman-owned marketing agency. Like, what the hell does that even mean? You know what I mean? It just sounds kind of goofy, but we're definitely getting there, and it's getting significantly better from the other day. So, and I also found out another big thing: Agent Mail offers 3,000 emails per month. So that means I can pretty much send out 100 emails per day, which is a big deal. You know what I mean? So what I'm thinking is, once this gets refined, we're going to scale it up. We're going to scale it up to about 50 initial outreaches per day, and then 25 max follow-ups per day. And then at some point, what I want it to do is find the right balance. How many follow-ups to follow up with people per day, how many initial outreaches. So it might be like a 50-50 split or like a 75-25 split. We'll see. But before we scale up anything, I just want to make sure, this stuff is actually working properly. Well, this is embarrassing to say, but both the calls I was supposed to have today were no-shows. Yes, they were no-shows. I followed up with one guy. He said he accidentally had something pop up. He was scheduled for tomorrow. Send him a link. We'll see how that happens. Tomorrow, unfortunately, I don't have any bookings, and neither with today's ads, based on what I was thinking of yesterday, is going to work. So like, if we properly frame the free offer around the AI assistant, it's going to attract more people. Surprisingly, it's not getting any calls, so I may have to restructure the offer once again. I'm just gonna let it run for maybe another day, give it a feel, before I come to a quick conclusion. But I think perhaps the angle might be, instead of just an AI assistant, make it around the outcome. Make it around the outcome, purely around the outcome. So before, initially it was OpenClaw, then it was the AI assistant as of yesterday, or pretty much running today. And then what if I could make it the outcome? So in what's it called? In 30 days, reduce your headcount by one person. Save $60,000, or in 30 days, get back an extra 10 hours of time guaranteed, or we work for you for free until you do. And the whole point really is the whole point here is to create an offer that sells and primes the outcome as the main thing that people know they're getting, versus say OpenClaw or AI agent or whatever. At the end of the day, people just want outcomes. That's the way I'm potentially considering going about it differently. Other thing is, I did mention earlier I was getting the email follow-up agents and stuff like that ready, so those are all good. I also set up even another agent where pretty much all it does is just checks the email statuses throughout the day, and it just lets me know, hey, did any emails bounce? Did we get any responses? Whatever. Pretty much just checks the agent mail inbox to kind of give me an update whether or not there's anything there. And before I create any more flows or post sequences, excuse me, past that, I just want to see whether or not what we're doing works, and if it does work, what kind of responses or types of responses we can get. So I just want to make it more predictable and first understand what we're getting. I followed up with some more people today, and the one woman who had a pretty big, I guess you can say small business, she has roughly 17 employees. She's the only one that hit me back up after the follow-up from earlier today. and she was trying to get her onboarding, I guess you can say, fully automated and outsourced, but I guess she said she may not need that, and she's still kind of in the loop or just wondering what could she potentially remove or automate. So she's still questioning, and I told her, hey, just if there's something that you're repeatedly doing with a system, you can probably delegate it out to an AI. So we'll see what she says. She says she's also going to potentially send me something around meta ads she's doing, but I don't really know, quite frankly, what it is. So we'll just see and hope for the video. And in the meantime, what I tasked and prompted my AI agent to do is to build out a lead magnet, because I think one of the big missing pieces here in the picture is having some sort of email list so I can work with and talk to customers. You know what I mean? So I already got people booking on my Calendly and stuff like that. And I think one key thing that I'm missing in the picture here is the email list, so I can actually do something and stay warm and at the forefront of these people's attention versus just the booked call, whatever. And speaking of no-shows and booked calls, I had to literally look up online what are people doing to prevent no-shows. And on one hand, yes, I love the fact that I did have some sort of initial like lead flow and just flow of people booking. But on the other hand, some of these people just proved to be not serious, and it's just wasting my time. You know what I mean? So I restructured the follow-up or just like the pre-call sequences. So there's a 24-hour notification, 1 hour, and then a 15-minute. And then the other thing I'm collecting on my form is a phone number. So as funny as it sounds, but I've seen it applied before. I'm going to collect people's phone numbers, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, if I see the notification, I'll call them as soon as possible. You know what I mean? And maybe see if I can have the sales call literally right there. Because people say, if you can just call them right away, you can just increase your closings. People are fresh and warm. They know exactly what you're doing. And I remember I heard a story. I forget who it was, but there was literally one person that was getting paid a ton of money just to be on standby for having someone like pay attention when a booked call comes in. Because all this person's one job was literally to, as soon as you get the notification or the booked call, you call the person and you close them, like as soon as that comes in. So I've never had the opportunity to actually try that out and see whether or not it works, but I heard some guy say that on a YouTube video, saying this is how you can reduce no-shows. So there's only one way to find out. Other than that, unfortunately, slow traction, really slow fucking traction since the last weekend. You can't be disappointed about it. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? It dried up. Like, what's there to be disappointed about? Just try something else at this point. But it is what it is, and you just have to move forward, keep your head up, and just keep trying different things until something just works. And we're close. There's something there. There's something there that works, and all you have to do is just find the right combination, the right angle that works, and everything will just click and skyrocket from there. It's just a matter of testing. You know what I mean? Just testing the variables. Other than that, I'm gonna wrap it up for today. There's just some light things I have to do, and we will just catch up tomorrow. Hopefully, I have a task in the pipeline for the agent that's going to wake up tomorrow, and it's going to start building out a lead magnet. So I'm not going to build out this lead magnet. It's going to build it out. And I was also researching to potential email marketing platforms where to like host a list, because for the longest time I've been using MailChimp, but quite honestly, they're ass. And I've heard a lot of negative reviews. Personally, I'm not a fan of them anymore. They just grown too big, and they do some shady things with charging, pricing. Honestly, not a fan of it. You know what I mean? So after just some looking and digging, the two companies that I'm strongly considering right now is MailerLite and Brevo. And not that I'm considering it, I went with Brevo. And the reason why is because they have a pretty generous free plan. Plus, they have a whole suite of products from a CRM, what's called email marketing, SMS, and even more. And they have some pretty good API integration, especially on a free plan, which is accessible for my agent, which is pretty important. I was also considering Klaviyo, but I don't know if Klaviyo is the right move right now. So I'm just going to go with Brevo. Never used them before, but I've heard a lot of good things and quite a bit of mentions about them when they were being referenced on some of these review videos for email marketing platforms. But yeah, that's going to be the wrap for today, Friday. And tomorrow we're just going to catch up, get back right to it, and continue just recording off where we are. You know what I mean? So just going to continue, like I said, with some light tasks and just go from there.